the 49ers are in this mode now with Purdy where, they've got a great opportunity to win with him. But he right now is playing at a very high level. He's leading the NFL in yards per attempt, and he's leading the NFL in completion percentage and like 19 other quarterback categories. So he's playing at an exceptionally high level. And nobody wants to really recognize it. People want to kind of be like, call it a one-off and say that, maybe this is the year the MVP goes to a running back or a defensive player or wide receiver. I've seen people make arguments for Myles Garrett and A.J. Brown, CMC. The reality is it's been a quarterback award. And then people will say, well, yeah, but he dumps it off. And if you look at the numbers, that's just not really the case. I mean, he has a lower percentage of yards after the catch, as far as his total yards thrown for this year. He's got a lower percentage of yards after the catch than Mahomes did during his MVP year, than Aaron Rodgers did during his 2 MVP years. So it's just there's a lot of people that are they have Brock in kind of a different category. Like, he is a product of Shanahan and this system, and nothing could be further from the truth.
Well,
let's be honest about this.
It's part of his truth. It's a part. We need to acknowledge.
But this also has to be known that non-Brock Purdy quarterbacks, other than Jimmy Garoppolo, when Purdy stepped in Week 13 against Miami last year, all quarterbacks not named Jimmy Garoppolo under Kyle Shanahan, 9-29.
Yeah. No, it's some of the numbers are overwhelming, but again, let's acknowledge that situations dictate careers as much as talent does, and the young man's in a wonderful situation. Putting that on the table, there's no one else who I think could be as wonderful in this situation, just based on Purdy is wired to be this humble, yes, coach, I'm not going to let my own talent kind of dictate what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to stay within the constraints of what you're asking me to do, coach. And that is why we will all have success together. To buoy some of what you just said, if your argument was that Purdy pads his stats with yak yards, you're incorrect about that. 48.5% of Purdy's passing yards this season have come after the catch. Patrick Mahomes last year was at 54%. So Mahomes had a greater distance traveled on legs to his passes than what Purdy even has. So if that's your argument against him, you didn't make that against Patrick Mahomes. Again, if Purdy's numbers were attached to a quarterback people anointed as super cool, the argument would be this needs to be a unanimous MVP. If Mahomes had these numbers, it would be a unanimous argument. If it were Aaron Rodgers, if it were Josh Allen, if it were Lamar, if it were Herbert, if it were Tua, if it had been a super cool young quarterback that everybody liked in the first place, not a interloper who came out of nowhere that no one saw coming, so no one wants to give him the credit. Brock Purdy leads all quarterbacks in the following statistics: passer rating, yards per attempt, yards per pass completed, adjusted yards per attempt, net yards per attempt, adjusted net yards per attempt, completion percentage, touchdown percentage, QBR, passer success rating, expected points added per dropback, total EPA. The only 2 categories which he does not lead are in passing yards, which is CJ Stroud in his rookie year, very impressive, and in touchdowns. Dak Prescott right now leads the NFL in touchdown passes. And we have determined, the same way we determined that average and RBIs aren't exactly the whole telling story stats in baseball. So we've made up all these other statistics, deeming yards and touchdowns don't tell the whole story. So now when you go into the stats that tell the whole story, the story is Brock Purdy, 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 Brock Purdy. That's the story.
It's been an incredible, so when does he get his? I love, of all the sound bites, the one I loved was from Richard Sherman, who's like, this is a second-year quarterback. And you know what? Give him give him his flowers. And if you don't want to give him his flowers, he's like, Brock Purdy just needs to go win a Super Bowl and take it. And here's the bottom line is, a lot of people looked at him and said, well, and this was when there were a lot of people pushing for Trey Lance at the time. And they just assumed that Brock, because he was a little bit more diminutive, didn't have much of an arm, didn't throw the ball down the field. Suddenly it became a referendum on arm strength and what he does down the field, instead of just winning and having success. But now here's Purdy in first week in December, leading the NFL in yards per attempt and completion percentage. So the dink and dunk argument is just out the window. And of the 10 quarterbacks who have thrown at least 20 touchdowns, Purdy has the second fewest picks, leads the NFL in passer rating, as you mentioned, and is tied for the most passes of 40-plus yards. He's the betting favorite to win the MVP as of this morning. He's jumped Hurts. He's jumped Prescott. And it's an amazing thing. This truly is almost like a Disney, hard to believe kind of a script. This guy, the guy went from Mr. Irrelevant to this guy can't be the starter to why isn't he in the MVP? Why, conversation.
It's the greatest story in the NFL since Kurt Warner, bar none.
It's incredible. It's an incredible story. And as far as the yards after the catch, here's the numbers on that. He's not the only quarterback to benefit from yards after the catch. On the season, 48.5% of Purdy's passing yards have happened after the catch. And Mike Sando, who's a good friend, he writes for The Athletic, had it in his article that's right on par with the past 10 MVP quarterbacks. The league average is 47%. And Patrick Mahomes was at 54% last year.
Yep.
Nobody was saying, hey, Mahomes is a product of, yards after the catch. They're just like, Mahomes is a bad MFer. But Purdy does it, and it's like, oh, yeah, I don't know. I'm not really sure. And then also third down. I mean, look at this.
Is it Patrick Mahomes' physical attributes that make everyone ignore the fact that he was in an incredible system? Andy Reid and that two steps ahead of everybody offense that they're running in Kansas City.
And name any quarterback in any era. They're all in great systems. I mean, Kurt Warner had Torrey Holt and Oz Hakeem and Isaac Bruce. I mean, these guys are Hall of Fame type receivers.
The only guy who really was like, wow, he made everybody better all the time. Brady. He had a year of Randy Moss and they set records together. But really, Brady did. He did have
Gronk and Edelman, who was a Super Bowl MVP.
Yep.
And at one point, Randy Moss.
And Aaron Hernandez.
He also made Deion Branch. Deion Branch, I think, had a phenomenal Super Bowl. But I mean, to me, it's like when you're watching Purdy right now on third down, that's what, I mean, just in this last game against Philly, these are the third downs. 3rd and 3, 3-yard pass to Kittle for a first. 3rd and 1, 13-yard pass to Debo for a first. 3rd and goal from the 2-yard pass to Ayuk for a touchdown. 3rd and 5, 18-yard pass to JJ for a first. 3rd and 3, 33-yard pass to McCaffrey for a first. 3rd and 7, Eagles had just scored. They made it 21-13, 10-yard pass to Ayuk for a first. 3rd and 9, 8-yard pass to Jennings, and then McCaffrey would convert on the 4th and 1 on the next play. And then 3rd and 5, Purdy, 18-yard touchdown pass to Jennings. I mean, the guy had 2 drives where the Niners didn't look good. They went 3 and out or whatever, and then converted 7 of the next 8 third downs. And he did it on the road in the most hostile of territories against the best team in the NFC outside of the Niners. And I mean, if that doesn't make you believe, then you're just never going to believe. And that's fine. But I mean, this guy is really, really special. And his teammates, I mean, I think it's time for us to say it. Brock Purdy's great. Brock Purdy's great. It's not about his Mr. Irrelevant. It's not about anything else. Brock Purdy's great.
Well, and
he's
look
the
at
best Niner quarterback since Steve Young.
Look at how good he is this early into his career. That's what makes it totally absurd. That's what suggests that the designation of greatness is an unfounded or misplaced. To be this good, this efficient, this in control, this mistake-free so early in a career. I mean, when you go and start comparing his numbers of this season to other quarterbacks in their seasons of MVP qualifications, they're all into their careers. They've all played several seasons and had become fully grown NFL veterans by the time that they were producing like this. Brock Purdy has taken this league by storm in a manner of which only Patrick Mahomes has. I mean, seriously, when you think about it.
Totally. And if you said, it's a young quarterback, what do? Just dial up the blitz. He won't be able to handle it. He won't be able to react to it. All we got to do is we got to speed him up. Right. You can't do that. It doesn't
Purdy
work.
Eats blitzes for breakfast.
Yeah, seriously. They blitzed him 10 times. He was 10 for 10 for 213 yards and 3 touchdowns and a perfect passer rating of 158.3. So you can't blitz him. So, I mean, how many 23-year-old quarterbacks can you honestly sit there and go, well, we can't blitz him? I mean, if you blitz him, you're giving him defined reads, and he's carving you up like a Halloween pumpkin.
Right.
So,
who was the quarterback? Maybe it was Zach Wilson or someone. I can't remember. Maybe he was wearing a Jets uniform. I don't know, but they were playing the Patriots and they cut away, and the NFL like network microphones picked up them saying like, I'm seeing ghosts out there.
Sam Darnold.
Oh, that's right. It was Sam Darnold. It was
Sam Darnold
out there. And Purdy does not see these ghosts. How do you confuse a young quarterback? Larry just brought it down. You blitz him, and then you just run scheme diversity at him where he's looking at a different defense every single time he's looking up on third down. Well, Purdy is number 1 in the league against any and all defenses. Whatever you want to say is out there. Cover 2, man-to-man, zone, half man, whatever, shell, whatever the nom de plume of du jour of defense is, 3-4-4-3, 5-2-7-3, whatever it is. Whatever it is, whatever Greg Papa is going to say 55 times on his show today to sound like he's in the meeting room.
Staggered screens.
Purdy beats that. Yeah, the floppy set. It's coming off that too, Larry. I mean, he beats any and all defenses he sees. He beats passive defenses in a zone. He beats aggressive blitzing defenses. It's pretty phenomenal, and it's kind of unprecedented. This early in a career, this player would be so efficient.
He's an incredible player. I'm going to share the screen. I'm going to show you this question I asked him yesterday. And just look, I mean, this is kind of where this guy is. I mean, he's in a real comfort zone. Listen to this answer. I basically was just asking him about the fact that Wednesdays and Thursdays are the install days. And I just was asking him, is this the first time you see
Can you get the quote up, or the Bazzy man? Sorry, thank you very much for interacting with us. But
okay.
If there's one thing Larry Krueger needs to improve upon, is he is hosting the control room of 49ers Wake Up. It is the addition and subtraction of chats. There we go.
We'll get to that Bazzy Mian because it was a good one. Here's Brock from yesterday down in Santa Clara.
Brock, the Wednesday and Thursdays when you guys typically install, is that a surprise to you as far as the game plan? Are you seeing it for the first time, or does Kyle consult with you on Monday and Tuesday about some of the things that maybe you want in the game plan that week? Or is Wednesday your first day?
No, yeah, Wednesday's usually my first day. I'll go in and talk to him on the off days and just sort of get an idea of like what we're thinking. But then the first time I see the plays is on Wednesday. And, it's because they're doing all their studying and prep. They want everything to be perfect for when we see it for the first time, So, do I like it? Yeah. I mean, I trust in them. I'd like them to prepare like as coaches and give us the best game plan as possible, So, but it's worked, since I've been here. So,
and Kyle wants a yes, chef quarterback. Yes, chef. Whatever you need, chef. Right away, chef. How do you want those diced? Do you want them julienne? Do you want them quartered? You want them? What do you need? Yes, chef. And that's why Purdy is perfect for Shanahan. It's why the relationship is so healthy.
And this guy's also about the team. I'm going to show you the other question. This is the other one I asked him from yesterday. And this is also another, I asked him about how good it felt. You saw that footage of him running off the field in Philly and all the Niner fans chanting Purdy. I mean, they're literally chanting Purdy, Purdy, Purdy. And he's like, let's go. And he runs off the field. I asked him about it yesterday. Look how he deflects.
How cool does it feel to run off the field in Philly last week, having all those Niner fans there chanting your name? That had to be kind of a cool moment for you.
Yeah, I mean, just the support that you get, from the faithful, and when we go on the road games, even if it's East Coast, they show up, and they're there, man, all the way through. And so to be able to pull out a great win like that and then run off the field and have them still be there supporting all of our guys running out was special for all of us.
I mean, just like, it's literally they're chanting Purdy, Purdy, Purdy. And he's just like, you know what? Hey, just called out the faithful for all of us, team guy to the bitter end. So, yeah, I mean, the players love him. Cowherd went at him for wearing his hat backwards, which made Cowherd sound like 150 years old. And then I noticed that yesterday in the locker room, Kittle's doing interviews. Oh, hold on a second, guys. Takes a hat out, puts it on backwards. McCaffrey's sitting there. He's got no hat on. He goes to talk to us, puts a hat on, flips it backwards. I mean, I don't know if anybody else caught that, but it was like a show of solidarity there for their guy. I mean, you're going to go at Brock. They're going to kind of show you. They're going to, they're supporting their guy. So, it's been a great ride. It's been a great ride, and there's a hunger and a determination around the Niners to get this thing done.